to several different, burglaries, alarms, assaults, this, that, or the other. Every day's new, and I enjoy that. I enjoy the sporadicness that this position can bring. I also enjoy my current position of being a canine handler. That's been my favorite position I've had.
What made you want to start a police career?
Just watching TV growing up and seeing a bunch of cop stuff. I said that earlier. Yeah. But yeah, I just think I just watched too much TV, and being a cop looked like it was cool, and I enjoy it, and I was right, it is cool. Some of the positions I've held at my current department, everything from, I was a field training officer right away, so I was the officer that trained new officers get hired. So you pretty much ride around with the new officers and make sure they're doing things okay. I've been a critical incident training officer, so an individual going through, mental health crisis or things like that. I'm on boat patrol, so I'm on the water rescue team in case we need to launch the boat or whatever. I can get on the boat and go find people. I'm also on bike patrol, so I can be downtown on the bike if needed, or I can special events, I can jump on the bicycle. I was a detective for 18 months. When I was a detective, I was assigned what's called gen crime or general crime, so I handled everything from kidnappings to sex assaults to elder abuse, fraud, burglaries, robberies, the works. So when I was a detective, I handled pretty much everything. When I was a detective, the opportunity came up to apply to be a canine handler. We've always typically had one dog, but they were like, hey, we're gonna ramp it up and get a second dog. I applied, and they chose to select me as the handler for the dog, and this is the best position I've held at the police department. I mean, my dog, Canine Chase, lives with me. He goes home with me, and we train every single day. Every day we do something. We have our own take-home car, and we do our thing. Go ahead.
Is that a taser?
No, this is a gun. We get to do training every day. It's super fun. I enjoy it. And at the end of the day, I get to work with an animal that is there not only to protect other officers, but to protect me as well. So that's pretty cool. How has this affected my life or my family life? So I'm in the unique position where my police job and my current assignment bleeds over into my everyday life, literally every day. Because Chase lives with me, I'm in charge of feeding him, bathing him, making sure he's okay, making our training go. So I do stuff with Chase every single day. When I get up in the morning, I make sure my son's okay, I get him changed, I get him his bottle, I put the TV on for him, then I go outside. I get Chase out, I make sure he goes to the bathroom, I give him food, and once I make sure he's okay, I go back inside and I take my son to daycare. And then after I drop my son off at daycare, I get to go back home, where I get to grab Chase, and we get to go to our training for the day. So I literally every single day I'm doing something with Chase, whether that is obedience work, which you guys will see me do, narcotics finding stuff, or apprehension work, which is the bite work stuff, or tracking. So it affects my everyday life. Chase can't be boarded. So when you drop a dog off to be boarded because you're going somewhere for the week. I can't board Chase because he learned how to pick the locks at the boarding place.
What?
So he picked the lock where he was being boarded, and then I had to go pick him up, and it was the whole thing. So now they can't board him. So now Chase just gets to be with me wherever
So he picked the lock with his
24/7
wheels?
with his tongue. He's a really smart dog. So it affects literally my everyday life. My advice for someone interested in this career: if law enforcement is something, if law enforcement is something you're interested in,
I heard that.
and it's something you want to do, you need to be able to recognize that there are different aspects of law enforcement, whether that is just being a regular patrol officer, a detective, or a canine handler. Find something you want to do. Make that your goal. When I got hired at the Burlington Police Department, one of the first things I said in my interview was I want to be a canine handler for the police
I
department.
want to be a Navy SEAL.
Focus on it. Find something you want to do and then do it. I enjoy it. It's something that to me is important because I see the direct impact it has on the community, and I see the direct ability you have to change someone's life for the better. So jumping into the canine stuff, my dog is a 4-year-old German Shepherd. Everybody knows what a German Shepherd is, right? It's one of the typical police dogs that people get. Go ahead.
Is he the new police dog?
He is newish. We've been on the road for about a year now. So we're transitioning to becoming essentially the middle dog. The Burlington Police Department runs their dogs for about 6 years. So a dog will serve 6 years as a police officer and then will retire Once the dogs are retired, the handlers get the option of adopting the dog. Most people do. I don't know a handler who hasn't. So the current older dog, Rico, he's the black German Shepherd at the police department. He'll retire next year. His handler, Kanan Beck, will get the option to adopt him, which I'm sure he will. And then we'll get a new dog, and Chase will become the senior dog at that point. Chase is 110 pounds. He's a bicolor German Shepherd, so he's black body, tan legs. He's a boy. He's not fixed. And he is what's deemed a very aggressive dog. So he's people aggressive and he's dog aggressive. So he doesn't like other dogs and he doesn't like other people. Question?
What do you mean he's not fixed?
So you can fix a dog where you essentially make it so that it can't have kids.
So we can't have babies.
Correct, but he isn't fixed, so he can't.
No.
Circling back to the important stuff. He is, you made me lose my train of thought. He's people aggressive and he's dog aggressive. So what that means is Chase can't be around other dogs. So when he is around my pet dog, I muzzle him and he gets to play with her that way. He can't be around other people, so I'm the only one who's ever held Chase's leash. I'm the only one who lets him out. I'm the only one who feeds him.
So if he was in here, he would be barking at us?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you're off
Yes.
the leash, will you try to bite him?
Yes.
Of course.
I'm jumping on and saving him.
He is
You gonna jump back on?
also den aggressive, so whenever
I'm jumping on top of
the
it.
squad car, he is very loud and audible. He's trained in handler protection, so if anybody's around me, he's always watching me, he's always pretty vocal, and he lets people know he's there.
Overall, he's just a very good dog.
He is. And police dogs can come in a variety of shapes and sizes, from your German Shepherds to your Belgian Malinois to your Golden Retrievers, your Labs, Black Labs, Golden Labs, things like that. We just chose German Shepherds because we find that their size is very intimidating. Chase has had about 24 deployments where I've sent him to apprehend somebody. In each of those deployments, people have given up just based off of his size and his stature. We've had no bites yet, but we've had several close calls. Chase is trained in several different things. I'll just talk about some of the smaller stuff we do. The first thing you'll see me do is what's called obedience. It's where he just sits, stays, lays, follows me. It's a here. It's a heel where he walks next to me. We just train that stuff so that he understands, oh, there are certain commands I'm supposed to listen to. So when I tell him down, he stays down. He doesn't move. He doesn't stray from that. You'll see me give him his ball, which is this thing right here. This is the thing he loves the most. Once he does good, I give him his ball. You'll see me tongue on it. You'll see me give him tons of pats on the head. And that's essentially how he gets his reward for doing good, or that's how he knows, oh, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing my thing. So the second thing and the most thing he does is his narcotics detection. Chase is trained to detect the odor of marijuana, methamphetamine, heroin, ecstasy, MDMA, which is like Molly, and psilocybin mushrooms and fentanyl. So those are all different scents that he's able to pinpoint or locate within vehicles, persons, bags, cars, or rooms. That's stuff we do on the daily. We'll probably do about 2 to 3 sniffs a night. And that typically comes down to an officer stopping a car saying, hey, this person is showing me signs that there might be narcotics inside the vehicle. So I'll come out, we'll have the driver step out, I'll run Chase around the car. Chase will show demonstrate alert behavior, which I'll show you what that looks like here.
What do you sniff the car?
Yeah. And then he gets his reward. We search the car, and we always find what's in there. Chase hasn't been wrong yet, and that's one of the big things he does. He also, within this detection realm, question?
Pretty sweet.
It was like a prior question. I was thinking kind of fun talking.
Go ahead.
Do you ever worry about him getting to your child?
I was just about to
Yes.
say that.
So that's a great question. So my wife and son never interact with Chase when I'm not there. So he has 2 kennels in my backyard. Chase never goes in my house. He has an outdoor kennel, which is just a cement pad where I have a super heavy 10x10 dog crate where he has his dog house in there. And then that has 2 locks on it. It has a carabiner and it has a lock on the door itself. I have a roof on the house too because he can reach the roof if he stands up. And he's in there during the summertime. So when it's nice out, he's in there. In the wintertime,
Me, that's all.
No, in the wintertime, he has an indoor kennel in my garage, which is heated. It's a long run. He hangs in there. He hangs in there anytime there's snow on the ground or it drops below 25. Other than that, like when I'm in the backyard, there's a sign on my door that I just flip it. It says "Don't come out," or "Come out," meaning that Chase is either up or he's out or whatever. But I'm very intentional on not having anybody be in the backyard. I also have signs on my fence at my house.
Be aware.
Caution, aggressive dog, do not come in here without the owner being present. And that just falls back on me, right? Because the PD endows me with this tool, and it's my responsibility to make sure I'm acting responsibly with that. So yes, I worry about that all the time. I also am gonna put a fence around the kennel now because my son's friends will come over and they'll wander over there. They'll bark at him, he lets them know, so. But yes, that is a great question. Transitioning into the detection stuff, K9 Chase can also track people. So if somebody runs away from home, or if somebody bails from like the park, or somebody goes missing, all I need is an article of their clothing or something that they had held on to recently that has their body odor on it, and K9 Chase can track them. So we tracked an autistic kid a couple miles away from his house. Just in the middle of the night, he just decided I'm gonna get up and leave. We found him down the road. So we can do stuff like that. If somebody bails from a car during a traffic stop, we can track them that way. If I'm away from my car, and we'll transition to what I have on me, I can push my hot pop, door pop, which lets him out. He comes and finds me and he makes sure I'm okay. So those are some of the other detection stuff he can do in that realm. Lastly, and is one of the most important things that Chase does, is he's also a bite dog, so an apprehension dog. So what that means is K9 Chase is trained when I give a command to go and bite somebody and hold on to that person until I pull him off, or he is pulled off by other means. That is reserved for obviously very felonious crimes or an individual who meets that use of force spectrum. So not just because somebody stole something from somewhere and I gotta show up and go, bite him. Typically it's people who have committed violent offenses, individuals who have met a use of force threshold. So prime example is we had a chase a couple months ago now where a person stole a car out of Lee County. They hit a deputy's car, and then we chased them for an hour. They ended up crashing their car and running, and I sent Chase to go bite this person. Now this person recognized, there's a dog running after me, threw his hands up, gave up, said, please don't bite me. And I was able to recall Chase back to my person, grab his leash, he was able to go back. He was able to go in handcuffs without a bite, so that's really important. The bite stuff is also important in the handler aspect, the handler protection aspect. So K9 Chase and I always work at night, we work night shifts. So when I go out with a car or when I stop somebody, he sees the lights are on, he'll track me through our squad car. He sees where I'm standing. He's always watching me and the other person. If something was going on, I can push my hot pop, he'll come out. He knows that if the hot pop door comes open, it's an automatic bite. Somebody's getting bit, he pushed this door for a reason. So those are kind of the big three things that Chase does. But more importantly, in order to be able to do those things good, we train every single day. So I'll go through a little bit about what I carry on my person when I'm working and how that translates to the canine handler. So
That's a bulletproof vest.
this is my bulletproof vest that I wear at work. It weighs about 20 pounds. I carry a lot of the same stuff a lot of other officers wear. My radio, my taser, my camera, I have a tourniquet with some trauma shears, flashlight. I work nights, so flashlight's very important. My note-taking pad, my magazines for my pistol, and my radio. But the one thing I have that's different is Chase's shot collar. So Chase is a 2-mile long shot collar. It goes all the way up to 7. I have it set to 3. That level 3 setting is Chase's it's the equivalent of me giving him a strong tug on the leash. The 7 is a full body locking. He goes down, and that locks him up. That's another way that Chase and I communicated. For whatever reason, he's off leash. So when I was talking about that car that took off and hit that deputy's car, he was about 60 yards away from me. So obviously he's not going to hear me yell down, but he's going to feel me hitting him with the 7 and him recognizing, I'm supposed to go down. He goes down on all fours and he just waits for me to show up. So that's another way we communicate. On my person, you see I have the door pop, which opens my squad car. We have our own squad car. The squad car comes home with me. There is Chase gets the whole back of the squad car, so there's no way for me to transport somebody. He just gets the whole back seat. He has AC to his own back seat. I have a heat alarm on there that lets me know if it gets too hot. I'll get a text. The alarms will go off in the car and all the windows go down. So he's protected in that way. Other than that, I always carry a spare leash on me. Being a canine handler, I go through leashes like it's nothing. Chase has snapped several leashes. So this one's actually reinforced. I took it to the corner cobbler and she triple stitched it for me. So I have 4 of these that I keep on me in the car on my person just in case. I have a really sharp knife in case we're tracking and I need to cut the leash because it got caught on something. Gloves because you're going to see he slobbers everywhere. And things just get very wet. I have doggy poop bags. I got tons of doggy poop bags in the squad car because he goes all the time. And then the most important thing that I carry on my person, that all my officers that I work with know where it's at. It's always in this front right pocket. It's always been in this front right pocket. It's called a breaker bar. So if I was to get hurt, or if Canine Chase was to, for whatever reason, bite somebody and I'm not around, or I'm incapacitated, officers know to grab this from my front right pocket. They can hold on to Chase's collar. He has a handle on it. They can stick this in his mouth and it'll automatically choke him off to the right. This is reserved, we've never used this, but it's reserved for those rare occasions where it might be needed. You'll see that Canine Chase has 2 collars on. One's a choke collar and one's a flat collar. So what I mean by choke collar is that it is just essentially a piece of chain. And when he has his choke collar on, so here's a choke collar. When he has his choke collar on, he knows, and we're able to communicate with each other. Hey buddy, we're walking through a school or we're doing something, don't get too far, stay close, whatever, stay close to me. His flat collar, which you'll see he has, allows for a lot more pressure to be dispersed around his neck, so he knows when the leash is on his flat collar, oh, I'm working. Oh, I'm supposed to be detecting something. Oh, I'm doing obedience. Oh, I'm supposed to be biting somebody. The handle on his collar that he has now, I use, when we're training bites, I'll grab onto it, he'll get tons of pads, tons of goods, he'll stay on that bite for as long as need be. I also have 2 different muzzles. The first is this big, heavy black one. This is his bite muzzle, so it's a muzzle that is designed so that he's able to open his mouth and simulate a bite. He can go up to people and do his thing without actually hurting them. So he knows when this muzzle's on, we're doing some sort of training or something where he has to go find somebody or do his thing, right? So he knows that this muzzle means I get to be mean, I get to be aggressive, I get to do my thing. Now this other wire muzzle, he only wears when he plays with my pet dog. So he knows, oh, I get to wear this one, he can drink out of this one, he can do his thing with it. He can wear this all day if need be. He knows that if he has this one on, it's generally a fun time. Now I also sneak this one on him when I go to the vet, because we only go to the vet twice a year. So I'll put this on him and he'll think, oh, we're gonna go play, we're gonna go do our thing. I don't have to be mean at the vet, I don't have to do our thing at the vet. So that's why I will sneak this one on when we go to the vet. Some other training aids, you'll see these boxes spread out throughout the room. They're just wooden boxes with holes put in the center of them. This is where we practice our narcotics hides or detection hides that he has to focus. This one's just an empty box. There's nothing in here. This is one of our clear empty boxes that there's never going to be odor in. This other box over here is what's called the hot box, or the box that we put our odor in. You'll see there's a key holder in there. That key holder has, does everybody know what makeup remover wipes are? They're like those little cotton circle things. So I will take those makeup removers and I will put those into our supplied narcotics so that he actually gives us, and also all the drugs that he is certified to detect for training aids. And I will put those in with the ounce from a jar for about a week to 2 weeks, and I will let this cotton pad soak up that odor that's associated with that narcotic. I'll then take them out and I'll put them in his training aid box over here. And then I can just carry those around with me. We do trainings every single night, every single day. So again, here are the 6 odors he is trained to detect. So you can see I just have a little jar of Q-tips and cotton swabs of meth, cocaine, marijuana, heroin, MDMA, and psilocybin mushrooms. So we do the training on the actual odor of narcotics, but obviously because of it being a narcotic, we try not to have those out of the building as often as possible, just because we don't want to lose them. I'm not going to explain something I lost. That's marijuana. And yeah, so that is pretty much all of the big training aids. Any questions about canine stuff before I get Chase? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, could you guys have a curly course as a police dog?
Yeah, yeah. So there are tons of different dogs that can be police dogs. All it takes is a dog being, number one, intelligent enough to discern target odors, to listen to people, right, and to have a significant amount of what's called prey drive. So what?
So you guys can have like a chihuahua as a police dog?
No, because they don't have a big prey drive. So does everyone have, who has a pet dog? When you take your pet dog for walks, what does it do when it sees a rat? Chase it, right? So that is a great example of like a baseline prey drive. Your dog instinctively knows, oh, that is something I'm supposed to chase. Now your dog has probably never killed a rabbit or never ate a rabbit, right?
My dog.
Purposely. Right. It just knows, oh, that I'm supposed to get that. That is prey drive. So these dogs are trained to have, number one, a significant amount of prey drive, but utilize that prey drive and push it into obedience, push it into narcotics work, or ultimately push it into bite work. Because the rabbit, for these police dogs, is a person, right? For all intents and purposes. So they need to be able to recognize, oh, that's what I'm supposed to bite, that's where I'm going, nothing's gonna drive me. They don't care about gunshots, they don't care about screaming, they don't care about other officers, they just know that my guy told me to bite this guy, he's getting bit. Tons of different dogs can be used. There was a Rottweiler in my canine class that went to some sheriff's office in Louisiana, giant schnauzers. Louisa County has a golden retriever as their canine. The sheriff's office in West Burlington has Belgian Malinois as theirs. We just have German Shepherds at the police department because we find that they are more willing and oftentimes want to please a handler and have that relationship significantly more so than the other breeds. That's just what we determine. So, anything okay?
Don't you guys also have to be like a very playful, like does women be playful or not?
Yes and no. So a great question that you're asked when you're picked to be a canine handler, you're sat down and well, what kind of dog do you want? Tell me about what you do. So I told them I have a son, I have a wife. I told them about kind of where pay looks like, what I like to do. And they essentially pick a dog that has a personality close to me. Now, Chase is actually my second dog. My first dog was Canine Paco. And Canine Paco and I trained for about 4 months before we were supposed to go to our canine handler school. So the week before, I was supposed to go to this 2-week school with the dog that I just sunk 4 months into daily. He actually died. He had an undiagnosed heart condition that we just missed. It was one of those things where his heart just kept growing, and I dropped him off with the trainer one day, and they called me, and they were like, hey, your dog died. And I was like, what are you talking about? I just saw him like 6 hours ago. And they were like, I don't know. So then there was this whole big investigation, and that's when we found out he had the heart thing, and it was just something we couldn't find, right? So that happens. So while that happens to me, at the same time, Chase is with his other handler, because I'm Chase's second handler. He's with his other handler in the Netherlands. Now, Chase in the Netherlands did, it's a German police dog competition called Schützenhound. I don't really know much about it. But him and his handler did these competitions, and they were super close, and Chase lived with this guy's family, and he lived in the house with him, and they did this whole thing, and they were doing something outside. Chase saw a rabbit. This handler was holding Chase's leash, and Chase actually ended up breaking this guy's back, just on accident. So here I am in the States without a dog, and here Chase is in the Netherlands without a handler. The guy who runs our kennel was like, hey, if you want to make this training next week, I've got a dog, but he is not like your other dog. Because Paco, I could let Paco in this room, and he would let all of you pet him and love on him and do his thing, and he wouldn't have a thing about it until I gave him a bite command, then he would flip and switch. But Chase is the exact opposite. Did you get that video I sent you?
What kind of breed is Taco?
Taco is also a German Shepherd. Anyways, you can at least hear it. So when I picked up Chase, I said, you know what, we'll make it work. I got it, it's not a big deal. I can handle whatever dog you throw at me. He was like, okay, dude, he's gonna fly into O'Hare on this date and time. You're gonna have to pick him up, here's paperwork, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool, no big deal. So I remember I remember getting to O'Hare, and it's like a warehouse where they drop these dogs off. And I can hear a dog barking before I walk in. And I go, jeez. So I open this door to this warehouse, and I just hear a dog freaking out. And I'm like, dude, I hope that is not my dog. Sure enough, it was my dog. So I go try to calm him down, nothing. Finally I end up, I'm like, whatever, I throw him in the squad car in the kennel he is in, and we make it to Ohio, because that's where my class was. And this was us after already knowing each other for 12 hours. He wanted nothing to do with it. So finally, I ended up letting him out with, I had my leash ready, I had my ball ready, I let him out, I threw him on the leash, threw a ball in his mouth, we went outside, and I had a hand feed chase for about 3 months before he finally was like, okay, this is my guy, it's no big deal. And we've been great ever since. So when you become a handler, they try to take that into perspective, but sometimes you get the dog you get. So I always tell people, and I always tell other handlers, because we train across the state, you're gonna get the dog you get, right? But it's your responsibility to follow that dog and do what it needs to do. So it's gonna reflect on the training. And you'll see here, when I bring Chase in, he's gonna be freaking out, he's gonna be looking around, he's gonna be looking at you guys, but once we start doing our obedience stuff, he's gonna just focus in and we're gonna go what we need to do. So, any other questions? Anything? Do you guys just want to see the dog? Okay, cool. I'll have the first 2 rows move in the back just to give us some room. We'll do our thing, and then, yeah, I'll answer any questions you guys have.
I'm on this one. I'm on the last one. So when's your practice? Hey.
Harper, I remember which one it was.
Which one was it?
It was Rico.
Oh.
Guys, if you want to, you can sit down anywhere. The next 2 rows back.
Wasn't Chase at the night out? Not yet. I saw him.
There's nothing to be scared about. He's got 2 weeks.
Isn't he like this big?
What's that?
Isn't he like this big?
Go higher.
Huh? Oh! I'm not.
Listen to it. I hear him.
Chase. You can see he's a big 110-pound German Shepherd. Off. Off. So you can see once we're focused, he knows what's going on. He's waiting for me to give him the commands. We do this all the time, and that's what it takes in order to be off. in order to be an effective team. You need to be able to communicate with this 110-pound animal who has no idea what you're doing other than your weight. So, here. Sit. Off. Here. Off. And this is the obedience stuff we talked about. So this is the sits, the stays, the lays. These are the simple commands you need to be able to do on the fly in order for them to be effective at their job, right? Because if I send them in to bite somebody in a basement and I need to go in that basement, I can't just run down there with other officers while he's down there running around. I need to be able to look at him and say, off. He stays. I come up to him and I throw him back on the leash. Now, we talked about earlier what the two different chains look like. You see that he's on his choke collar, which lets him know he needs to be a good boy. He needs to stay close. Now I've got him on his flat collar. I switched him to his flat collar because we're going to start transitioning into narcotics lines. The narcotics line stuff is going to build off of his play drive, and you'll see when he finds the box that has the hide in it, he's going to act completely different than he did with the other boxes. Here. When he gets his ball, he's the best boy in the world. He gets everything, he gets his pets, he gets his tugs. And he gets to act how he wants to. Stay. And continuing on with that, the most important thing that translates from obedience work to the apprehension work or to the other stuff is you need to be able to, as a handler, pull your dog off. Pull your dog off of a bite if need be. Because the longer you have that dog biting somebody, the more damage he's doing, right? So that specifically transitions into getting this ball away. He loves that ball. That ball is all he works with. So he needs to be willing to give that up to me. Chase, close. And that just comes from building trust off. That comes with building trust off of one another and him knowing I'm going to get the ball back. He's going to give it back to me eventually. I just have to work for it. And that's all our relationship is. You'll see me put my gloves on because this ball is completely covered in slobber. See, that's him telling me, hey, it's right here. Hey, it's right here. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Ooh, good boy. Here. Off. Step. Chase. Los. Yeah.
Have your dog ever killed someone?
No. Los. Los. No. Come here. Off. Any questions about Chase or anything?
How high is his birthday?
Pretty high. But he's a big boy. It takes a lot to move, and it takes a lot to get up and down the car every day. Anything else? Cool. All right, guys. How about a big hand for Chase, huh?
Alright, you guys go back to your seats.
Well, great dog. What a great dog.
I didn't bring him today.
Huh?
I didn't bring my dog today.
Oh, you're smart.
I didn't want him to show up.
Oh, I bet. You probably would eat your dog. Happy dog.
Perfect time.
We'll just discuss it.
Did you not bring him? Did you give him something?
Once a week, I take him out to my parents' house to like hang out with grandpa.
I'm really disappointed you didn't get a bite.
I know, I was too.
I told him that we go ahead, but I broke the whole thing on his arm, the roof is fine.
Alright, you guys, just so you know, we probably have a storm drill here in a few minutes. So, guys, pay attention, please. We're gonna have a storm drill here in a few minutes. We do, the spot that we do, we go. We just sit next to the wall.
I put my own.
That's right.
She's the one that hurt, not to be injured. They gonna hear him scream. They gonna hear him scream.
That's all freaking Jesus.
Go and turn the corner and sit.
Is there another place? Nope, that's it. I'm gonna put some stuff away for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping to sneak some stuff out that way. No, I put him up in the car.
Bro, Chase is really scared of me for real.
Nah, you're getting sued, bro.
Bro, I'll really walk up to him and he'll run away. I'm that big.
Thank you.
You're not small.
He gone. I'll walk up to him. He gone.
Guys, nice job in the storm drill. Alright, let's give Porf a thank you for coming in on his own time. Tomorrow, guys, we will talk about ethics.
Watch out, dude.
What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? I explained before you knew.
Guys, no.
Yeah, this is stern, boy. My dad! This is my dad right here.
They can't bench me.
He's just like me. I'm 12. Like, still my line. I always say I'm 12 for this. Okay, well, now I got Hey, what is this?
Our old dog.
Who wants to suck on my chocolate?